Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Bagas Pratama. I'm from State Polytechnic of Malang, and now I want to present the topic about risk assurance. What is risk assurance? Risk assurance is a part of corporate risk management to delegate part of the company's risk to third parties, so that when an extraordinary event occurs related to the risk, the company does not bear the full loss. How it works? There is a diagram show how the risk assurance relationship with risk control and risk governance. There are some subtopic in the risk assurance, but the first topic is the control environment. Nature of internal control. Internal control is concerned with the methods, procedures, and checks that are in place to ensure that a business or organization meets its objective. Internal control is all the elements of an organization that taken together support people in the achievement of the organization objective. The elements include resources, system, processes, culture, structure, and tasks. When designing effective internal controls, the organization should look at the arrangement in place to achieve the following. First, maintenance of reliable system. Second, timely preparation of reliable information. Third, safeguarding of assets. Fourth, optimum use of resources. And the last is preventing and detecting fraud and error. Purpose of internal control. The primary purpose of internal control activity is to help the organization achieve its objective. Typically, internal control have the following purpose. First, safeguard and protect the asset of the organization. Second, ensure the keeping of accurate record. Promote operational effectiveness and efficiency. Adhere to policies and procedures, including control procedures. Enhance reliability of internal and external reporting. Ensure compliance with law and regulation. And the last is safeguard the interest of shareholder or stakeholder. Control environment. The criteria of control framework, otherwise known as COCO, produced by the Canadian Institute of Chartered Accountants (CICA), is a structured means of measuring the quality of the control environment within an organization. This is the framework of criteria of control. Their purpose, commitment, capability, monitoring, and learning. The component of the COCO framework. First is purpose, second is commitment, third is capability, fourth is monitoring and learning. COCO defines three major objectives of control: effectiveness and efficiency of operation, reliability of internal and external reporting, compliance with applicable laws and regulations and internal policy. Features of the control environment. The features of the control environment that are considered to be important by COCO internal control can be summarized as: first, organization is committed to integrity and ethical value. 2. Board has oversight of development and performance of internal control. Third, management set structure, reporting line, authority, and responsibility. Next is organization seeks to attract, develop, and retain competent individual. And the last is organization holds individual accountable for internal control responsibility. COCO framework of internal control. When establishing and analyzing the purpose of the organization, COCO makes it clear that the risk and opportunity facing the organization should be analyzed in detail. The importance of risk assessment, organizational resilience is emphasized together with the importance of recognizing the sources and the origin of the risk. Good safety culture. A good safety culture is the product of individual and group value, of attitude and pattern of behavior that lead to a commitment to an organization's health and safety management. Organizations with a positive safety culture are characterized by communication founded on mutual trust, by shared perception of the importance of safety, and by confidence in the efficiency of preventative measures. The second subtopic is risk assurance techniques. Audit commits. The audit committee is generally not considered to be a subcommittee of the board, but has a status and a seniority that enables the audit committee to evaluate all activity in the organization, including the activity of the board itself. The audit committee is in a position to evaluate the government standard within the organization, ensure that risk management receives appropriate attention, and seek assurance on the level of compliance achieved within the organization. Role of risk management. The purpose of risk management is to fulfill mandatory obligations, provide assurance, support decision making, and help ensure the effectiveness and efficiency of core processes. When allocating risk management responsibility, consideration should be given in respect of each of the significant risks faced by the organization to the spirit's allocation of responsibility for determining strategy, designing control, and auditing compliance. Risk assurance. Risk assurance is an important component of the overall risk management process. The audit committee will seek assurance that all of the significant risks are being adequately managed and that all of the critical controls are effective and that they have been efficiently implemented. Assurance will also be required in relation to the risk management activities themselves. The review and monitoring state of the risk management process is usually represented as an information and experience loop that provide feedback to the beginning of the process. When considering the review and monitoring activity that need to be undertaken, the following steps should be borne in mind. Review of the process as it operates in the organization. Review of the standard of risk control in force. Review of the level of success in reducing risk exposure. Review of the level of success in achieving business objective. Review of why a high risk strategy, project or operation was successful. And the last is delivery of risk assurance across this whole range of activity. Risk management outputs. Overall, risk management or internal audit outputs are intended to achieve enhanced performance of the organization in the four important areas of effective and efficient strategy, tactics, operation, and compliance (STOC). The required output from risk management internal audit can be summarized as fulfilling mandatory obligations, providing assurance, supporting decision making, and ensuring the existence of effective and efficient core process. Risk management and internal audit should work together to achieve this output. Control risk self-assessment. Self-certification of controls is an arrangement whereby local senior management complete a regular, often annual, return confirming details of the level of risk assurance that has been achieved in the department. Benefit of risk assurance. The benefit of adequate risk assurance are that it, first, build confidence with stakeholders. Second, provide reassurance to sponsors and financiers. Third, demonstrate good practice to regulators. Fourth, prevent financial and other surprise. Fifth, reduce the chance of damage to reputation. Sixth, encourage the risk culture within the organization. And the last is allow more secure delegation of authority. The next subtopic is internal audit activity. There needs to be a close working relationship between risk management and internal audit. The responsibility allocated to each of these functions will vary according to the nature, type, and size of the organization. This is an important working relationship because successful management of risk depends on four important risk-based outputs which can be summarized as met to mandatory as required by law, customer or client and standards, assurance for the management team and other stakeholders, decision making based on the best information available, and the last is effective and efficient core processes throughout the organization. There is the picture that show the role of internal audit. This diagram is taken from position statement, the role of internal audit in enterprise-wide risk management, reproduced with the permission of the Institute of Internal Auditor, UK and Ireland for the full statement visit. Establishing audit priorities is an important function of the audit department. In relation to the risk management activity, internal auditor will need to establish their priorities for the testing of control. There is an important interface between risk management and internal control. Risk management professionals are very good at assessing risk and identifying the appropriate type of control that should be in place. Intended, current level in the way that was planned and often assumed. If the control is not effective and efficient, it will need to be modified. This is another area where risk management and internal audit share expertise. Although this discussion on controls can be facilitated by risk management and internal audit, the ultimate decision on the control and their anticipated effectiveness have to be made by the members of line management who are responsible for the controls. Next is undertaking an internal audit. Undertaking an internal audit exercise involves a number of steps. Essentially, the steps involved are planning the internal audit exercise, undertaking the field work during which controls are tested, producing the audit report, and finally ensuring that there is adequate follow-up. As part of the audit exercise, the auditor should collect information relevant to the audit that is to be undertaken. Analysis of the information that has been collected will enable the auditor to determine and agree the priorities and objectives of the review. For example, an audit of the supply chain will require the auditor to collect information on the contracts that are in place with suppliers. Risk management and internal audit. In many large organizations, the working relationship between risk management and internal audit can be difficult. Internal audit will be working to an agenda that concentrates on the effective implementation of efficient control. In general, the head of internal audit will have a senior reporting line to the most senior non-executive member of the board, perhaps even the chairman. The three-line of defense model is based on the idea that first, management has primary responsibility for the management of risk. Second, specialist risk management function can assist management in developing an approach to fulfilling their responsibility. And the third, the internal audit function checks that the risk management processes and the risk management framework are effective and efficient. Management responsibility. Risk management should facilitate and support the activity in the center of the fund identified as legitimate rules for internal audit with safeguards. Exactly. And line management at the appropriate level should have responsibility for the rules identified as activity that internal audit should not undertake. This is the allocation of responsibility between internal audit activity, risk management support, and management responsibility. Next is 5 lines of assurance. The 5 lines of assurance model suggests the following source of assurance. First, the board of directors with overall responsibility for ensuring that effective risk management processes are in place, and the other lines are managing risk to within appetite. Second, senior executive and senior manager with overall responsibility for building and maintaining a robust risk management process and delivering reliable information on the principal risk. Third, business unit leader with assigned ownership or responsibility for reporting on specific risks and ensuring resources are protected and objectives are being achieved. Fourth, specialist unit providing expertise on specific type of risk, such as treasury, safety, environment, legal, and insurance, with responsibility for related risk management processes. And the last is internal audit activity, providing independent and timely information to the board and reliability of the risk management processes in their organization and producing consolidated reports. The next subtopic is reporting on risk management. First is risk reporting. Type of risk management documentation that may be required as follows. First, risk management administration. Second, risk response and improvement plans. Third, event reports and recommendation. And the last is risk performance and certification reports. Sarbanes-Oxley Act of 2002. The Sarbanes-Oxley Act, or SOX, was passed in response to a range of corporate scandals in the United States. This scandal involved in misrepresentation of the financial status of various organizations, leading to misleading financial statements. The primary purpose of SOX is to ensure that information disclosed by companies listed on the stock exchange in the United States is accurate. Chief executives across the United States view the Sarbanes-Oxley law as reactionary and overburdensome, yet they still cite improper accounting practices as the number one ethical issue facing business today. A survey of CEO on business ethics by Georgia State University polled nearly 300 chief executives at both private and public companies. Among its findings, most executives agree that the Sarbanes-Oxley Act strengthened public and investor trust in corporate America, although it had done nothing to improve ethical standards at their business. Many agreed that the act was an overreaction to the ethical failure of a handful of executives and has proven burdensome and unnecessary. Risk report by U.S. company. Companies that are listed on a U.S. stock exchange are required to make extensive disclosure about a risk factor. The risk management reports are intended to be forward-looking rather than a commentary on the risks that have materials in the past. The reports are contained in the periodic from 10 key or from Form 20F filing. It is not unusual to find several pages dedicated to risk factor. Typically, this section on the filing will be between 3 and 10 pages long. Charity risk reporting. In general, there is an expectation that charities should have detailed risk management procedure broadly equivalent to those required of government department or of company list on a stock exchange. The form and content of risk reporting should reflect the size and complexity of an individual charity. The Charity Commission is not seeking to standardize risk reporting. A narrative style report that addresses the key aspect will be an acceptable approach to reporting, provided that the report provides. First, a knowledge of trustees' responsibility. Second, an overview of the risk identification process. Third, an indication that major risks have been reviewed or assessed. And the last is confirmation that control systems have been established. Public sector risk reporting. Much of the information on risk management in government bodies is freely available on the website, and this information forms very useful reference material. However, because the information is publicly available, there is often no specific mention of the risk reporting to external stakeholders. This is the component and principle of government risk reporting. First is openness and transparency. Government will be open and transparent about its understanding of the nature of the risk. Second is involvement. Government will seek wide involvement of those concerned in the decision process. Third is proportionality. Government will act proportionally and consistently in dealing with risk to the public exactly. Next is evidence. Government will seek to base decision on all relevant evidence. And the last is responsibility. Government will seek to allocate responsibility for managing risk to those best placed to control them. Government report on national security. One of the biggest steps forward in risk communication in recent time has been the willingness of governments to be more open about security threats. Many governments undertake a national security threat analysis and publish the result. For example, the UK government published in 2011 and a document entitled the National Security Strategy of the United Kingdom. This publication gives detail of the threat to national security faced by the UK. More recently, the UK Cabinet Office published the National Risk Register. The UK or the UK government, however, the threat analysis is robust and detailed. The main threat category identified in the document are as follows: natural events, including weather, coastal and river flooding, and human or animal disease. Major accidents, including industrial and transport. Malicious attack on crowded place, infrastructure, transport and electronic, and infrastructure, including nuclear or unknown conventional attack. This analysis by the UK government is an interesting example of the detailed risk assessment being undertaken at national level. It demonstrates that risk management is now embedded into the heart of nation government. The fact that risk management has been embraced by national governments indicates that the importance of risk management is recognized at the highest level. That's all of my presentation. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.